You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this won't be a piece of cake.
In 5, 4, 3, 2. Folks, welcome to the Before Hours podcast, an internet radio phenomenon hosted by an occasional morning person. I ask the most interesting people I know about their sleep, routine, life, love, stress, setbacks, and whatever else comes to mind. If you want to talk to us, tell us about your morning routine, or suggest a guest on the podcast, you may do so. Slide into my DMs at Bobby Sheehan LOL on Instagram, or the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com. But for now, we have comedian, good friend, and first time on the podcast. Let's go ahead and introduce him, Frankie Hoy. How are you doing, Frankie?
Hey, what's up, Bobby?
I'm doing good, man.
What a professional intro, dude.
I do try to do a professional intro.
Yeah, all the intros I see is just like, all right, starting, all right, hey, man, what's up? And then I'm just fucking sitting here like, oh.
So, Frankie.
Yo, what's up?
What's
man?
up?
No, nothing, dude. I am.
What
That's funny. That's funny. You were like, this next guy, he's a comedian. Couldn't think of anything else. He's a good friend. Fuck it.
So we are friends, Frankie, but
Yeah.
let me kind of peel back the fourth wall, as it were. Even people who I'm not friends with that have been on the podcast, I introduce as a good friend.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm confident after an hour of speaking to me that they'll want to be my friend.
We will be closer, yeah.
I do feel like we'll be closer.
Because this is going to be the longest we have ever talked extensively.
Yeah, because our relationship so far is platonic. I don't know why I said it like that, but is I know you as being a guy that is both funny and not an asshole.
Oh, thank you.
And I am drawn to people with both of those characteristics.
Right.
Some people are one and not the other, and I can't hang out with them.
Huh.
Like
yeah.
if they're funny but an asshole, I can't be friends with them. And if they're like, oh, well, he's a great guy, but when they're on stage, I have to look at the floor out of secondhand embarrassment, I can't be friends with that person either.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's always bad when you meet someone like before like a show or something.
Mm-hmm.
They're like great, then you watch them perform. You're like, oh fuck, you were such a nice guy.
I know, dude. And that's I have almost like this thing of like, dude, if anyone says that I'm nice, I'm like, they should, if they don't also add and funny,
right?
Fuck, I'm in a lot of trouble,
dude. Well, speaking of like nice, and I mean obviously funny, but you did a very nice thing for me recently. Like probably not, not on purpose, but we met. Wait a minute, we ran into each other at the comedy shop, and I was like, I'm thinking if I should go to the gym or not. We talked for a little bit about like working out. And then you like, in a way, you didn't tell me to go or anything, but you like kind of motivated me. So I left the shop because I wasn't on any shows that night. So I left and I went straight to the gym and had an incredible workout, dude. And then afterwards, I was like, fucking Bobby, dude. I was like, nice, thank you.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, that was.
But maybe I should become a fitness influencer.
Yeah, you should.
It is interesting that someone could say like one thing to you and you're like, because I have experience with that too, even like I did a show and I felt bad about it. Not bad, but I'm one of those things where I'm like, well, that was a giant waste of time. And then a comic is like, you did a new joke, I noticed, and I liked it. And I was like, time to hang out at another show. Like I didn't just go home and jack off. You know what I mean?
Huh.
I mean, I did go home and jack off, but I did another thing first. But you showed me a picture. During that conversation, you showed me a picture of a young Frankie that was like absolutely yoked out of his mind.
Yeah, I always feel like an old person when I do that. Like, I used to be fat. Look.
Now, when you look like that, though, were you also doing comedy?
No, it's what.
See, that's what comedy will do to you, folks.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly when I stopped getting like out of shape. I look at my first comedy photos from like my first year and I'm like ripped and stuff and I'm like, whoa. And then as the years progress, I'm just like, ugh. Because you get the free drink tickets, then you just start. And then I started in California. So I'm just driving everywhere. And then my day job was being a truck driver. So truck drive, get out of work and then drive to a mic, get a free beer, do the mic, and then go back, go to sleep, wake up and do it all over again. So I immediately just gained weight as quick as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you should lead with I'm a truck driver.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're a truck driver 10, I would say, Frankie.
10?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, truck drivers usually like very overweight.
Oh, truck driver 10. Like, oh, nice, dude. Thank you.
I'm really good at giving backhanded compliments.
Yeah, I was a truck driver for 6 years, dude. I got my license very early. Well, here, let me start off with this. When I showed you that picture when I was ripped, I was that ripped because I took a shot at professional soccer. So after high school, I wasn't sure what I worked at a warehouse for like a couple months, maybe like 2 months, and I was like, I saw my future, you know. I was like, I come on, man, this can't be it. So I told my dad, I was like, yo, I'm gonna quit this warehouse job. He's like, and you're gonna go to college? And I'm like, let me just see, like, give this soccer shit one last try. I was like 18, 19.
Okay.
And he was like, all right, man. So the 8 hours that I would spend at the warehouse, I would spend them training soccer. And what I learned from that, dude, is that I was never really good. I was never the best player in any team. But after training, after I would just practice on my own and then like go play soccer with like the team I was in, I would go on my own and look for tryouts, which is something that nobody was doing, or a lot of kids don't do. Everybody's kind of just waiting for opportunities, especially like young kids. So I was like training 8 hours a day because I was like, I'm not gonna, if I'm not gonna be at the warehouse, I'm gonna be doing this. I mean, something super productive, training, working out, fucking running. And then all day just looking for tryouts. Eventually I found one, or sorry, I went to one where there was coaches there from like Sweden, Turkey, England, Ireland, where they all these coaches went and they like handpicked players and built their own team and then took them to their country and then had them play against second division clubs out there. So I got picked by this Swedish team. No, sorry, by a Swedish coach. And they took me out to Sweden, dude. But the day of the last tryout, that morning, sorry, the day before, they called me and they're like, yo, the tryout tomorrow's gonna be at 6 a.m. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right. It was already like 11 p.m. And I was like, all right, man. I live 2 hours away. So I woke up at 4 a.m., drove to the tryout, 6 a.m. It was not my best one. After the tryouts, I went to Denny's, had some steak and eggs. On the drive back, I fell asleep and crashed. So I crossed 6 lanes, dude. It was like 10 in the morning. Crossed 6 lanes, didn't hit a single car, crashed into the barrier, and I was fine. And I was like, oh my god, I was like, all right. Fast forward to like my first week in Sweden, it's freezing. My back starts hurting, dude. Like my sciatica, so it gets inflated. And I go up to the coach. I'm like, yo, I was like, my back kind of hurts. And he goes, oh, go talk to the physio. And I go, so that's the calm over there. And I go to the guy, I'm like, my back hurts. And he was like, oh, looks like your sciatica is a little inflated. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, it's like, well, it's like, you're not part of the team. So he's like, you're just here in tryouts. And I was like, I know. He's like, I would just finish here, you know, fucking the rest of the month or whatever, however long it was. And then, you know, go home, figure it out, and then come back. And I was like, all right, you know, I know what that means. So then fucking finish the thing. We ended up beating every Swedish team out there, dude. It was amazing. But then I came back and, you know, my back was never like fully recovered. And to be honest, like I never really like tried either. So I just came back and I was like, whatever, dude. It's a done deal. So then I just stopped with the soccer shit and then just started truck driving and then got incredibly depressed, you know, because I was like, this is my life, dude. So now I'm like truck driving and I'm like, this blows, dude. I hate this. And then, you know, the whole time I was like, I had done stand-up once in high school for like the talent show. And I was like, dude, like that was fun. I've always wanted to do that. Let me just do that. And so I was doing this truck driving, but my shift was because I was running shuttles. So I was in cross country. I was cross country for a little bit. But after that, my shift was from 4 p.m. and I would get off like at 6 a.m. And then I after a year of doing that, just being like depressed and like heavily into drinking and shit, I went up to like the manager and I was like, is there any chance I could get the morning shift where it was from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m.? And he was like, well, there's a guy with seniority over you. And I knew the guy. And he was like, so if he doesn't take it, you know, we'll give it to you. I was like, all right. I went to the guy and I was like, yo, man, I was like, are you thinking about taking the morning shift? And he was like, I'm thinking about it. And I was like, dude, you don't want to do that. I'm like, the day? I'm like, there's traffic. I'm like, we drive at night. It's beautiful. You get to see the stars. Because we're driving through the desert. I'm like, you see the stars, dude. You know, it's no cars. And he goes, you're right. And I'm like, so you're taking the morning shift? He was like, nah, I think I'm staying the late shift. I was like, all right. Like, you want to go to the guy right now? He was like, yeah. So we walked over to the manager together. And the guy's name was Ricardo. He's like, I was like, Ricardo, fucking, he wants to talk to you. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm stick with the night shift. And I was like, oh, I'll take the morning shift. The next day, I started the morning shift, got off work, and went on my first open mic.
Oh shit!
Yeah, dude.
So you were prepared for the comedy scene because you were already experienced in Machiavellianism. Yeah. You're like, oh, that's interesting. You want to take the morning shift? Here's some reasons why that's not true.
Well, I mean, also this guy, he was single. He was like 50. You know, he didn't really. As far as I know, he bowled on the weekends.
Mhm.
That was like his life. He would always talk about bowling.
If anything, he knew the whole time that he was helping you out, but he's like, let me also let Frankie think that he won.
Yeah. 'Cause I ran into him too a couple of times, and then he did have the morning shift later after I left the company.
Mhm.
But anyway, so that's why I was jacked in those pictures, because that was before all that. I guess I went on a huge tangent. I shouldn't have.
No, it was a great tangent, dude. One question: the car accident that you got into before you went over to Europe. You went to Europe to play, right?
Yeah, Sweden.
So
Europe.
okay, Sweden.
Right?
So before you went to Sweden, you got into this car accident, and then later started to have issues with sciatica in your back.
Yeah.
Are the two related?
The car accident and the sciatica,
Mhm.
I think that's when it started.
Because honestly, and this might be totally stupid. I thought sciatica was like a geriatric thing.
Who's Jerry?
Like you get it, like old people get sciatica.
Well, here's why I think it's that. I crashed on my left side.
Mhm.
I start when I over there, they had you like running stuff in the cold. And then that side where I crashed, like it still kind of hurts now. Like it got swollen. And then I came back, and then like years later, just walking, my whole leg would go numb.
Oh wow!
So is that? I think that's a sciatica thing,
dude.
I went to the doctor and I told him, I was like, it's my sciatica. You know, this is all self-diagnosed. Me just looking it up in the internet.
Mhm.
But I went to the doctor and they were like, you know, the fucking doctors out here is blow, dude. They're like, well, you're gonna need an MRI, and that's too expensive. And I was like, what? I was like, I have insurance.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they don't want to. And they were like, oh, you know, it's really expensive. I'm like, can I just do the thing? Like, all right. So I went to the MRI guy. And then, no, sorry, I didn't go to the MRI guy. I went to a guy that was going to evaluate me to go to the MRI guy.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, I don't know. And he wrote down some shit. He's like, go take this back to the other doctor. Take it back to the other doctor. And they were like, come back in like a month. And I was like, the fuck of this. So I just never went back. So now I just kind of stretch when it hasn't hurt as bad as it did, like 2 years after the accident. But I mean, and by hurt, I mean my leg just goes numb and it feels like tingly, which I think is a sciatica thing. It's like a nerve thing, right?
No, I think you already know more about sciatica than I do.
I just hear people say it, and so then I just say it too. But for all I know,
yeah, I totally relate to like having an issue, and then in America going to a doctor, and then just like refusing to help you with
dude.
it.
It's a whole rigmarole. Like it's like trying to get past at a club.
Yeah.
Go talk to this guy. Go talk to that guy. Oh, come over here. Yeah, it looks like you're not ready to see the doctor.
Yeah. Come back. You know what? We really want to see you again next year.
Yeah.
We want to see if it gets worse. Yeah. It's fucking. That story, because you got into a car accident because you were like sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Because late at night they informed you that your tryout was early the next day.
They moved it earlier, yeah.
And then arguably the injury you sustained from that car accident is why your soccer career didn't go further than it could have. Did you just start crying? Damn, that's
But I would, like I said, I would have, the first I would have gone was maybe like bench on a second division team, because I was never a great player. The most I had was speed and endurance. I was very incredibly athletic, but I wasn't, and I had a high game IQ, but my skill level wasn't there.
Okay.
So, and then when I was over, you would see, we would play sometimes these second division teams that would have like 15-year-olds on them that were like quicker than me, that were like already like more athletic than me. And I'm like, guy, I'm 19. You know, the most I could get is just be benched on one of these teams. And it would have been an experience, but I think the best thing had happened, which, I mean, though I did have to go through that weird, like 1.5 year phase of like depression and alcoholism, even though I don't think I knew I was depressed at the time, but every weekend I would just get fucked up, dude, like incredibly drunk. And then I started doing stand-up, and then, you know, it kind of switched. I think we all have like an addictive personality, you know, whether it's healthy or not. Because I mean, it went from obsessive working out to obsessive drinking to now just obsessively mics and work and shows and just going to shows and shit. So I don't know. I think it's just keeps trading off and just stuff. You got to be careful with that, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm a recovering alcoholic. I stopped drinking when I was 25. I definitely relate to the idea that you have a addictive personality, and it's just, can I fill it with something healthy?
Right.
You know, because some people can sit on a couch and relax.
Yeah.
You know, I can for maybe a half hour. And then I got to do something, you know? What I mean?
I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about how recovering addicts always look incredibly healthy. And I'm like, oh, it's because they're addicted to like being incredibly healthy now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's what it is.
I think a lot of it is so there's like a bunch of different reasons for alcoholism. This is gonna sound crazy, but I think sometimes it was a literal oral fixation. Like I'm just drinking a lot. I'm always drinking a lot of liquids, whether it be coffee or water or whatever. Like I'll sit down at a bar with somebody because I hang out at bars a lot. You know, you kind of have to, and I'll get a Diet Coke, and the Diet Coke's gone within a minute.
Oh,
and people have been like, "Wow, you breezed through that." I'm like, "Yeah." Imagine if it was alcohol.
Yeah.
Imagine if this was, you know, whiskey.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably it does have something to do with like holding a drink.
I think so. My dad has this, and he used to smoke. I've never smoked. My dad used to smoke, quit smoking, and now he eats a lot of candy. And he does this thing where he'll just fill up a glass with ice and then just chew on the ice, which, by the way, I find severely irritating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's an oral fixation.
I think it's also a
I mean?
diabetic thing. Is your dad diabetic?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the ice thing is diabetic.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I should stop being an asshole. Got a literal symptom of his illness, and I'm like, oh, shut up.
You know, my dad just started dialysis too.
Dialysis?
Yeah, dude.
For kidney problems?
Yeah, well, he's diabetic, and then he had a kidney failure, so now he has dialysis.
Oh,
and he's gonna be like, I think he's waiting for like a transplant or something.
Oh, okay.
But since he's like 50, he's probably like third on the list. I think it's like kids, and then famous people, and then and then
50. Yeah, you have to either be under 18 or have been on a sitcom at some point. Yeah. And then Frankie's dad. Well, guys, prayers for my dad and Frankie's dad's dad. It's hard to be a dad, dude. You know,
you want kids?
I don't know. I actually had this conversation with my parents because when I broke up with my girlfriend at the time, like a year and a half ago, that was my first real relationship, and I think it was like a little traumatic for my parents. You know, because specifically because I'm 33, they really thought that this was like going in the direction of like marriage and and family and stuff. But like honestly, I'm like a career guy. I think career first. Yeah. And I said this to them. I'm like, I could think of no worse life available for me than to quit comedy and get married and have children.
Yeah,
I think that would suck tremendously, and I think my kids would feel the resentment.
Yeah, dude, I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
yeah, dude, I'm the same, but I have a girlfriend who, you know, we're gonna get really serious soon. I mean, we already are. We've been going out for 5 years, and she's moving out here to New York because we've been in a long distance relationship since I moved out here 2 years ago. And in a way, I am like a career guy first, but like you kind of have to like balance it, which is like the hard part for me. But I'm starting to like, not that I didn't appreciate her before, but I'm like really like appreciating her now, where it's forcing me to balance my life within stand-up and her. And like, I don't know if it sucks. You know, it doesn't, because I want to give her everything. She's been incredibly supportive. She's been there. I mean, I've been in stand-up 6 years. I've been going out with her for 5. So she's been with me since I've been a fucking shitty open micer, you know? And like, as like things progress, she's always been there for me, you know, whenever like something bad happens or whenever I'm out there and, you know, I just feel like fucking you just get shut down by everybody. She's always there. So I'm like, dude, she has my back throughout this whole thing. It'll be incredibly unfair to keep putting career first over her. So I kind of have to like balance them toe to toe. But yeah, dude, it is hard, and we don't want kids. I'm trying to get a vasectomy soon, but I mean, I think eventually we'll try to adopt or buy one, as they say.
Oh yeah, you can buy an Asian one.
But yeah, you could. They're like 30 grand.
Yeah. Oh, that's expensive.
I mean, it's like a
yacht,
like a used Lexus.
Or a used Toyota, if you will.
Yeah, 4Runner.
So you guys don't, okay, so you don't physically want children, but maybe you would adopt children.
Yeah, I feel like we both have too many problems, you know?
I kind of feel that way too. Like morally, if I have a child, it might have red hair. It might be 5'5". You know, like that's not fair. Yeah. You can't bring someone like that into the world.
Dude, if we have one, he might be Mexican.
Yeah. Yeah, your kid would be Mexican. Why would you want to do that to somebody?
Just another one. Oh, God. No, but like, you know, like probably like we're very anxious people. Like she's a little more anxious than me. I have fucking IBS and she has like her own stomach problems and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, we're gonna just have a kid. I don't know if I have IBS. I think so. I'm trying to take a shit all morning and I can't. But like, we're gonna have a kid. I'm like, oh, dude, you know, and then you have to like keep him alive.
You do have to keep him alive,
which is incredibly stressful, you know. And then you gotta make him a good person too. You don't want to raise an ass, so you make him a good person. And then on top of all of that, dude, let's say it's a good person. You keep him alive. He grows up. You know, and then he might get hit by a car, dude, when he's like 20. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, no, dude.
Yeah, that's sunken cost right there. If you raise a good, smart, intelligent, successful child, and then they just get hit by a car, fuck. And you're like, now I got to start all over or get a dog.
Yeah, dude. I had a dog that got killed. Like my first dog got killed, and it was very traumatizing. I was very sad about it for the rest of my life. I'm still sad about it. But my mom saw, and I think like in a panic, she like a month later bought me a new dog. And I was like, I don't want this new dog, man. Like I don't care. And she was, no, like we'll name it Winky. And I was like, all right, so there's Winky, I guess. And it was like a small teacup Chihuahua. And I tried my hardest to like dismiss it. You know, I would like come out and be like, oh, there's a fucking new dog or whatever. And I think my mom noticed. And I to test how much I care for it. Like my dad was in the garage cleaning things, and I was getting out of the shower, and I was like, "Hey, your dad stepped the neck and killed Winky," and I was like, "Well, there goes that dog," you know. And she was like, "Jesus!" She was like, "No, I'm just kidding. It's right here." And it was like,
I love little Frankie just being so. He's like, yep, it'll be that way sometimes. She's like, I was joking.
Yeah, dude. Like, I just imagine Winky going like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck?"
Thank God that dog didn't speak English.
Yeah,
or Spanish. I guess we speak Spanish. Yeah, you do speak Spanish.
I do. I like to think I speak it well, but all the Mexicans back home think I speak it like shit. They call me a pocho back home, which to like is kind of the same as calling you a ginger.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like offensive, but it's like it's supposed to bug me, but it doesn't.
Poncho?
A pocho.
Pocho.
Which is a Mexican raised in United States.
Okay.
And doesn't really speak Spanish that well. Which I do fucking speak Spanish, where I can get around. But like I do have an American accent, which I think is what bugs them the most when they see a Mexican with an American accent.
Yeah.
So they'll call us a pocho. And also because I don't know any farm work. That's why so they're like, this guy's not a man. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, I guess.
Which to me, it's like, I don't know. We live in Brooklyn now. The fact that you used to be a truck driver makes you more of a man than most of the fucking little, like skinny jeaned, like snow hat in the summer.
Yeah,
type
I wear
guys.
my Carhartt hat with pride.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. Well, now the hipsters wear Carhartt stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Dude, I woke up this morning thinking about the pod, this one, and I was like, do I gotta learn some? Oh, the producer just came back. I thought I was bombing because sometimes he laughs. I was like, I haven't made him laugh once. Turns out he was gone. The cameras are off.
He's like, fuck it, the levels are fine. I can't bear to listen to these two people anymore.
And I was like laying in bed, and I was like this close to like watching like a quick video about history, because I know you're a big history guy, and I love history, but I spent World War II is like my favorite thing, but I don't retain anything. I would sit there and watch hours and hours of like history, like World War II documentaries and everything, and then I just don't retain it. Do you retain it, right?
I feel like I retain about 10% of the things I consume.
It's still just like the learning is an enjoyable part, right?
Yeah, but I think it puts too much pressure on yourself to be like, I have to know all this information, because even the fact that like if you listen to audiobooks or YouTube videos about history, for example, while you walk, you're already like most people just watch TikTok. You know what I mean? So like the idea that you're like, oh, I'm not going to remember all of this. I'm like, you're going to retain about 10% of it, and you're going to know more than most people. Yeah. Your
thing is the presidents, right?
I love the presidents. Yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite president is Lincoln or
Lincoln. I love Lincoln, dude. Because the way I think about it, as far as like the top presidents, it would be. I could entertain Washington being the best one because Washington was the first president, and
he didn't know or care, right?
He what?
He didn't really know that he was going to be like the first president of like what was going to be America.
Yeah, I mean, when he was the general, he was just. I mean, he was a patriot in the original sense of the word, where he was like, we do need to be separate from the English Empire, right? And I'm a good general, and but I think he was surprised when people were like, "You're the guy that should be the leader." You know?
Did he have an accent, an English accent?
No, because he was born in America.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of interesting.
Is that a Southern accent?
Yeah, a little bit, probably a little bit of a Southern drawl because he was from Virginia.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's interesting because obviously we didn't have voice recordings until like the late 19th century, but you could read about like there's theories about what they could have sounded like, and a lot of it is based on how they wrote, because up until again the late 19th century there wasn't like a standardized like alphabet. Right. Or not standardized. There wasn't standardized spelling yet, so people, even educated people, would write out English words like phonetically. So like there's like Thomas Jefferson wrote a lot, and Thomas Jefferson would like write words in a weird way. I can't think of an example now, but basically you could like hear his Southern drawl on the words that he wrote. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
But no, I think if you were born in the American colonies, you didn't you talked differently than how people talked in England back then.
And didn't they try calling him the king?
They did, dude. They were like, you should be. It's so funny because we're so, because we're raised in American culture, so we're so like, to us, a king is like so foreign.
Right.
But like for a lot of European countries, they have like a president, a prime minister, of course, but then they're like, and the ceremonial king, like they're used to having the king, you know, even though it's a fucking joke. Yeah. But to us, it's like, dude, a king is so fucking stupid. And the idea, like, because we see like one and the same, like we broke from England and we wanted representative democracy. We wanted a republic. But I think for some people, they're like, hey, it's bullshit that we're part of the British Empire. But like, of course, every country has a king. Yeah. So it's, and I think that the fact that George Washington didn't have any biological children was probably a really, really good thing. Yeah. Because I think if he like, cause I think he was like in his 60s when he was president, which means like when he died, if he had a son that was like in his 30s, they would have been like, and now you, and it just would have been a de facto king.
Oh, that's good.
But I think that is why he's one of the best, is because after 2 terms, he was like,
that's enough.
Yeah, that's it. Like, let's give someone else a try, you know? And then John Adams was the second president, and they were both part of the same party. But then after John Adams, Thomas Jefferson was from the opposite political party. And so that already set a precedent, like, hey, every 4 to 8 or, 12, 16 years, there's going to be someone that feels completely different. Oh, okay. That's going to be running the country. Right. And I think that's super important. But I do think Lincoln supersedes Washington in that Lincoln's the reason why the United States didn't break up into like a dozen different countries. Yeah. Because if he was just like, yeah, go ahead, Confederacy, it doesn't matter. I think we would have been, a lot of people think like, oh, what if the South seceded? It would be 2 countries. I don't, because then you set a precedent for secession. And then so the South secedes, breaks away from the Union, but then like Maine is mad about something and they become their own country. Right, and then Iowa becomes their own country. Yeah. And I mean, if we're 50 different countries instead of one big country, I don't think we're not a global empire. For sure. Yeah. We're not empire is the wrong word. We're not a what's the word I'm looking for? A superpower. Superpower. Yeah. And I mean, us being a superpower is why we get to be so privileged. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. That, and we have good neighbors, dude. The fact that we don't have to worry about Canada or Mexico is like a huge plus. I mean, there's 2 global conflicts happening right now because the neighbors don't get along with each other.
I mean, and Poland is still shaking.
And you're Mexican.
Yeah, dude, I am Mexican. But Mexico has their own fucking bag of hammers going on over there.
Yeah, what's going on in Mexico? How plugged in? Because you were born in America.
Yeah.
You're a pocho?
Pocho, yeah.
You're a pocho. So how plugged in to you in like what's going on in Mexico?
Right now, I try not to. They have a new president who's, some people love him, some people hate him.
Mm-hmm.
He's making the value of the Mexican currency go up, which is, I think it's good. People are like, some people are really mad, some people are really good. People that are mad about it, which is completely understandable, is because, a lot of Mexicans come over here illegally or legally, and they work and they send money back to Mexico, right? They used to send back $1, they would get 20. Now they're sending back $1 and then they're getting like 15.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Because the value of the Mexican peso is going up. So in that sense, it's bad, but in the sense of their economy, I think it's good. So who knows? And then there, how Europe, they used to have like their own currencies, and it became eventually the euro. I heard talks about this like 10 years ago. I don't know if you've heard about this or if it's going to happen, but they want to make Canada, United States, and Mexico have the same currency.
Oh, no dice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not very educated about economics, but I feel like that's we're losing a little bit too much autonomy if we do that.
Yeah. I forget what not the krona. That's fucking Sweden. I forget what they were gonna call it.
I do know that in some places in Canada, you could give them American money. Like if you could give them US money if you visit Canada, but that has created like there's a phenomenon on the internet where like dumb American tourists like try to pay with American dollars and like another country that's not Canada. Yeah. They don't understand that Canada is like unique in that respect.
Right.
So they'll just like go to Sweden and be like, can I just give you $10? And they're like, that's not how this works.
I saw how we have like the chip thing now on the cards? The first place I ever saw it was in Sweden.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I came back over here. I think it was like a European thing first. And I came over here, and then like about like a couple months later started over here.
Yeah.
Handing out chips.
Yeah. That is like, that feels, it does feel futuristic when because now the there's not even a lag time anymore. You just like tap it and then you paid.
Yeah, I do that now.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky in a little way.
Dude, I heard somewhere, not to freak anyone out, but that I don't know the exact numbers, but there's like let's just say $8 trillion in circulation going around, but physically there's only like $1 trillion.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like in actual dollars and stuff. Now, there's way more virtual money than physical money.
I mean, I guess it's that thing of like, since money became the main form of currency, since that's happened, it's transitioned to like currency is it's like an idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like I look at my bank app and I see the numbers and it's just like, this is what my bank says I have. Right. You know what I mean? And if the bank, which is not going to happen anytime soon, if Chase like collapses, I just don't have that money. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
We're so far. And like, I mean, you used to be a truck driver. That's like, there's stuff in the truck and then I bring the stuff somewhere else. It's very simple. But like, a lot of white collar work is like, I remember I heard a comedian talk about this where he's like, I don't understand why it's a lot of circling back. It's a lot of
zoom base.
Yeah. It's like my last job I had was a white collar job, and I just felt stupid explaining it to people because like I'd start explaining and they'd be like, what is that? I'm like, it's nothing. It doesn't, don't worry about it. It doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So more and more we're like gravitating towards, like I have value, trust me that I have value. Here's my credit score.
Right.
Like it's no longer like here's like I have 7 chickens, dude. Do you need eggs or not?
Right.
Now it's like, well, according to Chase, here's my credit score on the Chase app.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I sound like a giant R word that knows nothing about anything.
Yeah, I think we both are. Just talking about global currency. Fucking comedians. They live in a van for fuck's sake.
You too live in a van, dude.
Yeah.
How have we not brought this up yet? You're one of, I have to say, Frankie, of the people I've known in my life that have lived in a van, you are the most normal.
Thank you.
I'm keeping the backhanded compliments coming, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'm outside. You said asshole, but you know, but I mean, I don't understand how you can live in a van and be an asshole. You know, because like, what the. Because I have met other like van dudes who were like just dicks. I'm like, guy, why are you fuck you? We live on the street basically.
Yeah.
You be nice to people. Like we have to be nice. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful to all my friends that have got like let me. I don't really do it as much anymore, but they have like let me sleep in their house when I was like too drunk or something, you know, to like walk back to the van.
I'm too drunk to walk back to the van is such a funny sentence.
Dude, I mean, in the summer it would get dangerous because I would drink and then I would wake up like at 1 p.m. just covered in sweat and dizzy. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I could have had a heat stroke and just died.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And like now, you know, I hang out on my buddy Luke's a lot. We do a bunch of work together, a bunch of sketches, a real piece of work. Anyways, the name of the sketch page. So we do a bunch of work together, and so you know, I edit at his place a lot. You know, at the same time taking advantage of the shelter. You know, so like, I mean, like, I can't imagine if I was like a dick to him or anything. So he's like, all right, dude, fucking your work, then go back to the van. But I mean, I don't mind the van. I love it. I will be moving out of it this year.
Ooh.
I've been saving up for some time now, but I don't have any work history, so I don't know how the Hasids are gonna evaluate that when I try to get an apartment. I think I heard someone that you just give them like half the year up front, and that they like that.
Oh yeah, well yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I might just have to do that because my credit score is not good enough to be like I have no work history in the past 2 years. So you know. Can I please live here?
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, oh no. So I'll just give him cash.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been saving up for. Just to give him cash. How do you go about with your finances? Are you like responsible?
I have a bit of savings. I was able to basically I had a job during COVID where I made pretty good money.
Nice.
And I just saved it, and then I quit my job in June, and I've just been living off my savings plus like a little bit of comedy.
Oh yeah, you're the one that told me that you don't quit your day job just once.
Yes, and so I told you that, but that was told to me by a working comedian, and I asked him what being a working comedian is like, and he's like, well, you don't quit your day job once, you quit it over and over again because it's not linear. Like well, for some people it is.
Yeah.
You know, some people get a sitcom and then those days are over. But
now you get a couple viral videos.
Yeah. And it is interesting. I think a lot of people that you would assume don't have a day job have a day job. You know?
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with a non-comedian friend of mine, and I was like, yeah, if you're at a club, even the Comedy Cellar, most of those people have a day job.
Yeah, dude.
It's so incredibly hard to make all of your money doing stand-up.
And also a lot of comics that are famous just for being comics is very little, because you got to do some other shit on the you know, like I have a small following on the internet, which is it's because of my vlogs. You know, it's not because of stand-up. And you know, and then there's like fucking from a guy that just died from Family. Oh, what's his name? Bob
Saget?
Bob Saget, yeah. He was huge for the show, not for being a stand-up. He was Steve Harvey. He was famous for something. He's a fucking killer with stand-up. You know, some people get famous for other things, and then it's crazy how like later you find out like, oh shit, he's a stand-up, and that's a lot of times how you get those jobs. But to be just a working stand-up, like I think that's starting to be more common now. I don't know.
Yeah, we're experiencing another comedy boom, I think.
Yeah.
Because when I started, I feel like there were more people doing open mics than there were comedy fans.
Yeah.
And now that seems to have shifted. Like now there are people that just listen to podcasts and want to go to the I mean, I was surprised by how many people listen to this podcast. You know, because I'm basically nobody, and people are like, I'll listen.
Yeah,
you know
dude, same. I got my podcast. I'll plug it later. Keep on Trucking podcast. Snuck it in there.
Hell yeah, dude.
And dude, we have like 300 listeners, and I don't know 300. I guess maybe I do know 300 people, but I'm like, I can't know all of these people.
Yeah.
And then you get like every now and then like a stranger comment. Oh, this was a good one. I'm like, how long have you been listening for?
Yeah.
Like, so it's exciting, dude. And thank you for listening to this one too.
Yeah. No, I'm very grateful for the people that listen. I think people are like hungry for entertainment because mainstream entertainment is kind of, there's a dip in value in it right now.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, like I see commercials for Young Sheldon. I'm like, who's watching this?
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And apparently it's like they're like #1 in America. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's watched by old people that died 50 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah.
The
dude,
TV's still on.
And sometimes like unknown podcasts are very good. Like when I was a truck driver, I remember I listened to this podcast of like these, it was like these 3 guys. It was 2 dudes and a girl, and they would review like new albums that came out.
Okay.
And I would listen to it, you know, and I didn't know them. They weren't famous.
Mm-hmm.
And after like maybe like, I think they had like 14 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, all right, they had like an argument on the air talking about that they were going to quit because this guy didn't want to do it anymore.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? And then they quit. They stopped doing it. And I was like, that was an experience in my life and in theirs. And they had no idea I was listening. I was just some fucking young truck driver listening to these like 3 other kids reviewing albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that was, and so then I think about it when people listen to me and Luke on my podcast, or you with, you know, with your guests.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, there's some random truck driver out there. Like, I'll give this one a shot.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, dude, nowadays, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think it shows like high openness to experience, you know,
Yeah.
to be like, I've never heard of these people, but fuck it, I'll try it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I think some people consume podcasts like people consume music, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I'll check out like the indie stuff. That's the thing. I think there's almost like there's punk bands. And
Oh,
people listen to punk bands,
yeah.
and they'll never be famous, and they're not trying to be. Like
Right.
the podcast, the indie podcast circuit kind of feels like that sometimes.
Dude, that was me in high school.
Mhm.
All my music knowledge is from fucking garage bands around my town.
Yeah.
Like-
So I know you're from California.
Paris, California, yeah.
Where is that?
It's right in between San Diego and Los Angeles.
Okay.
It's a very small, it's right above Temecula, which is Taylor Thomas, and where she started out.
Mhm.
Which is, she just presented a Grammy to someone. And I was like, not a Grammy, what are they called? Oh, is it Oscar? The one for acting.
Okay.
The Golden Globe,
Ooh.
yeah. She's presented a Golden Globe. And I'm like, that's fucking sick, bro. She's from the town over. That's where she started at. And like, I'm like, the mics that she's doing, like the same guys are still running the mic.
Oh,
And,
hell yeah.
and I'm like, oh, you know, it's kind of like upsetting.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, she started out with these 2 guys and they're still hosting. But they're good people. They're good people. They're nice.
And nice, when you say nice, you don't necessarily mean unfunny.
Yeah, yeah. But
okay,
so
cool.
it's like right in between. It's like a little desert town,
Mhm.
very small. But yeah,
Mhm.
dude. Where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York, so probably
Buffalo. They played today.
like the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm not that far upstate New York. I'm about a 2-hour drive from New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just went upstate for my first time for some road gigs like a couple months ago,
Mhm.
and I got sick.
Oh.
It's fucking freezing up there, dude.
Oh yeah, just fucking you couldn't handle it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
dude. And I'm about to go to Michigan again, which is upsetting.
That's your plug. I'm going to be in Michigan. I'll be upset the whole time by how fucking cold it is. I'm losing my mind at how cold it has been this last week.
Yeah.
I don't usually get I don't get seasonal depression like some people do, but like I just the idea that I have to decide what I'm going to listen to before I step outside, because once I step outside I need to hide my my hands from the bare
What do you
cold.
listen to?
Mostly music. I'm a music guy.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes I'll throw on there's some YouTube channels I like Vlogging Through History is really good. Mr. Beat is really good, not to be confused with Mr. Beast. And then some podcasts I like Sam Harris's podcast a lot. I'll listen to Rogan if I like the guests.
Yeah, me too.
But it has to be I can't if it's one of Rogan's friends, I can't listen to those anymore.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Oh man, I was gonna ask you the thing.
Mhm.
Oh, you asked me to go to the gym with
Mhm.
you this week, but here's a talking point. I just started going to the gym frequently with my buddy Luke.
Mhm.
Then you asked me to go to the gym with you, and I was like, oh, that sounds like fun.
Mhm.
But a weird part of me was like, it feels like I'm cheating on my buddy.
Mhm.
Right? Is that a thing?
No, I have multiple gym partners.
All right.
The I'm polyamorous with the gym basically.
Okay.
Because I feel like because I like working out by myself, but if I find out someone works out, I like to work out with them because It's better than like if you get a meal with somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I eat really fast, but I feel like we order the food, I eat the food, and then it's like, do we leave now? But we've only been here for a half hour. You know,
Yeah.
But if you're at the gym, you're going to be there for at least an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I eat relatively fast too, but I like hanging out afterwards and just kicking it. You like to leave immediately after you eat?
Well, it depends. If
Where
you're
are you going, bro?
If you, well, yeah, I don't know. I feel there's a anxiety that I feel if I'm at a crowded restaurant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm being a dick right now.
Right, yeah, dude.
But that's my thing is I always go to a diner because
Yeah,
at a
me too.
diner you can never stay too long. At a
Because
diner.
of diners, I've gone broke. Fucking $20 for a burger. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, you want the fries? Yeah, I want the fries. Oh, it's $40 now.
yeah. There's some like there's some near McDougal that are good, like Washington Square Park Diner.
I like that one.
And what's the other one? Waverly Place Diner.
That one's expensive, no?
Is it?
Dude, the best diner? Yeah.
Okay, what's the best diner?
Best diner. And my buddy Ben Callahan's mad about this because he's a huge Manhattan guy. Best diner, still 24 hours even after the pandemic. Court Square Diner in Queens.
Court Square Diner.
Yeah, off the G7 EM.
Ooh.
It's like right there. It's in Long Island City. Still 24 hours. The food's still kind of shitty, but like the price is like, and they fill up your coffee and you can stay there as long as you want. Every diner for some reason they're closing at 11 p.m. now.
Yeah, I hate when a diner's closed. Well, I get it because I'm sure some of them get robbed.
Yeah.
But
have you ever gone to a diner during the day?
A diner during the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a weird thing to do.
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
Really?
Well, for me, it's because like I go, it's like a different place, like different staff. I don't know them. You know, it's kind of like going to your buddy's house when your buddy isn't home.
Okay. Oh, so wait, are you a regular at this Court Square Diner?
Yeah, I'm a regular at Court Square. I'm a regular at Washington Square Diner.
Okay.
And like we're like they like know us and shit. But like I went one time to Court Square during the day. They were like rude. They hated me. Like the food sucked. I mean, I guess it was a little more than usual.
Dude, I hate bad customer service.
It's the worst. Although I am guilty of being a bad customer service guy because I would do catering every now and then.
Okay.
And sometimes like we cater like events, but so I guess we're not waiters. But people try to treat you as a waiter.
Okay.
And then that's when I like kind of like become a little rude. Because I'm like, you see, I'm not waiting your table. I'm just fucking out here dropping the food off and picking up the thing. Or well, like my company caters all these like swanky parties and stuff. So we'll do like hors d'oeuvres or I'll bust tables a lot of the times. Dude, when you're busting tables or just like picking up like glasses, people just throw fucking shit at you. So but like that is your job. You're basically a walking trash can when you're busting stuff. But like, I mean, don't be a fucking rude asshole about it. Or like they won't even look at you. They're just like slam a fucking. And then I'm like, yo, dude, I'm not doing that right now. Like I'll be like a dick to them, even though I am. And they're oh, sorry. And I'm like, fucking asshole. And then I walk away.
Do you know what makes my skin crawl is if you're at a restaurant and you see someone at another table snap their fingers.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, who told you that was an acceptable thing to do?
Dude, that's insane. I can't think of a thing to snap your finger besides going like explaining something to a guy and saying that it was fast. Like it was that fast. It was that fast.
Yeah.
My hands are so cool I can't even snap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never snapped my finger at a person, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of, or whenever I see rather, I think there's a party next door. Whenever I see someone being a dick to either like a waiter or a fast food employee, I'm like, damn, they must feel so low on the totem pole.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're like, I have to dominate someone somewhere.
Yeah, dude.
In some way. My wife won't fuck me. I have to yell at this teenager at Burger King. You know what I mean?
Dude, so you have you been going on dates now ever since you've been rolling up with your girlfriend?
Oh, well, we broke up like a year and a half ago. So yeah, I've been on some days. Yeah.
Do you see like these like ladies, the way they treat waiters and stuff?
They've always been super nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I'm old enough now that I kind of have a good filtration system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the good thing about being older. You kind of like pick better things.
Yeah.
But you make like wiser decisions.
Because nothing will make my dick go inside of me more than seeing a woman be rude to somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially the fakeness of like being nice to me, but then being rude to somebody else. Then I'm like, oh, you just want something from me. And then, you know, now are you imagining my penis going inside of me? That's how like that's the male equivalent of like having a dry pussy, is that my penis goes inside of me.
That's how these trans women started. They just saw somebody being rude to someone and they became trans. Was that edgy? Was that an edgy joke?
It was a little bit edgy.
That was out there.
So I know you've been with your girlfriend for a little while, but when you were single, what was like a pet peeve of yours? What would it be like? Oh, I can't. This lady can't be in my life.
Dude, I was the worst at dating. I mean, I never. I'll tell you this quick, kind of mean, unlikable story. But I went to a party, and it was like a backyard party, and it was like dark, and there was this girl who I was chatting up. And when the party was over, you know, like we exchanged our phone numbers, and I left, and my homie was like, "Yo, dude, like you were talking to that girl," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm like." I was like a little fucked up, and I was like, "Was she hot?" She's like, "Dude, come on, she was fucking banging." And I was like, "Nice." And I texted like the next day, I'm like, "Hey, let's grab brunch." It was like Friday, Saturday, so Sunday. So Saturday, I texted her, I was like, "Let's grab brunch tomorrow." And she was like, "All right, yeah, I'm down." So I was like hyped. I was like, "Hell yeah!" But I saw her Friday night.
You had the goggles on. So
I was drunk. My homie told me she was hot. So I drive out like 45 minutes to her place. And I'm like, yeah, I'm outside. And then she comes out. And like, if I thought she was like a 7 at the party, she was probably like a 3.
Oh, 3. Oh my goodness.
But she did have colored eyes though, which I guess is points, and that's not really my thing. But she did have like green eyes. And I was like, fuck. Like, whatever, I'm already here, you know, I'm not an asshole. What am I gonna just leave or be a dick to her? So we go out, and then she's like nice, we're having a pleasant conversation, and I'm like, all right, maybe I won't be a superficial guy, maybe I'll be one of those guys with ugly girlfriends. That's fine. So we go everywhere's like kind of like packed, right? So we end up going to Denny's, which I that's on me. I was 20, 21, I don't know. We go to Denny's, and this was a real deal breaker for me. She ordered a bowl of fries, and I was like, what are you, fucking 7?
Oh,
a bowl of fries. And then, so that was like a huge turn off for me. But I tell this to my buddies, and they're like, fucking a bowl of fries is acceptable. But I mean, when you see them bring out a ceramic bowl, porcelain bowl with just stale fries in it, and the girl who's supposed to be courting you're supposed to be courting each other is eating it. I don't know. It was just an extremely unattractive thing. But
it is a lot of carbs and no protein.
Yeah,
that's just unhealthy.
That is true, dude. I mean, and then, dude, I used to do this thing when I was young, where whenever I would have a crush on a girl and I didn't want to have a crush on her, I would imagine them shitting.
And then you just get more turned on.
Eventually, yeah, it became a fetish.
That is a woman shitting. That's almost like imagining a cute girl shitting. The equivalent to that is like if a woman imagined a man crying. Right. I think those two things are equivalent. You know, everybody does it. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but it's just not in like very masculine or very feminine.
Yeah, that's an attractive thing to do. I remember my mom told me once, she said, "It's all right for a man to cry. You know, Jesus cried." And I was like, "Well, thanks for comparing me to Jesus."
That is a very Hispanic mom thing to do. Just like our Lord.
Yeah, Jesus.
That is the shortest verse in the Bible is 2 words, Jesus wept. And it was after Lazarus died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they taught us that in Catholic school, and I didn't understand the significance at all at the time because I don't come from a very macho family.
Yeah.
So
Irish?
Yeah, and well, you know what? Okay, so because I feel like my dad was like first generation sensitive. You know what I mean? Like he valued being sensitive, but he was like the first one to do it. Okay. Like he would give me a hug and say, "I love you" and stuff.
Okay.
Which
nice.
like not all men get. Yeah. You know what I mean? but he does also value like stoicism and hard work and which aren't contradictory necessarily, but
I think this is why we get along. I had a similar father. He would like same thing, but like we never had any deep conversations.
Yeah,
you know, like I know he loved, like he when I was small, he started a soccer team for me. You know, told me he loved me, went to all my games. But like that's all we ever talked about was soccer and work. But I was never like, oh, there's this girl at school. You know, like just even thinking about it, we're both like, oh.
Well, I think because my dad has told me, he's like, you could talk to me about anything, right? And if I would talk to him about stuff, I could feel him being like, all right, this is good, but also being uncomfortable.
Yeah, you know I mean? I never had I never wanted to talk to them about anything. Like either of my parents. I don't think they know what's going on in my personal life unless they watch my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad, excuse me, listens to my podcast too.
Oh, nice. Hello, Mr. Sheehan.
Hello, Mr. Sheehan. I actually don't call him Mr. Sheehan. I just call him Dad.
I call my dad Mr. Sheehan.
Oh, good. Yeah. I call my dad Mr. Sheehan. I also call him Big Dog.
Big Dog.
Yeah, that's a fun little thing we do.
Have you seen those Big Dog shirts?
No, there's a Big Dog shirt.
Yeah. They're like they're like political shirts, and there's one where there's like it's like a big dog, and it's right after Osama bin Laden was killed. Okay, and it said "Hasta la vista." Oh no, Saddam Hussein. It's a really old shirt, and it says "Hasta la vista, Saddam," and it's like Saddam like flying away. And it's like the big dog with like a gun.
Hell yeah!
You never seen those shirts?
No,
get one for your dad for his birthday.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might start to be a guy that wears funny graphic T-shirts.
Yeah, dude. I did that once in my life. Yeah, I was like, you did that a lot?
No, I've never done it.
I did it once in my, but I mean, I was like 12, and it said my name is Trouble, and then it said don't make me prove it. Ooh. And then people would comment and like, well, that's a good shirt. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is an easy way to get a good laugh or a react. So I can see why people do it. But I was never a graphic T-shirt guy. I hate graphic T-shirts.
See, I was a band T-shirt guy when I was in high school, but very quickly I graduated to plain T-shirts, and I'm a plain T-shirt guy to this day.
Me too. I like plain T-shirts, or I like the graphic on the back.
Ooh,
I love a small graphic in the pocket, and then a big graphic in the back.
Big graphic in the back. So Frankie, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
What's 3 a.m. considered?
So are you waking up at 3 a.m. or going to bed at 3 a.m.?
My brain is the most creative at 3 a.m.
I remember we were talking about this. Yeah. And it sucks because you don't get to choose when you're at your most creative. It just happens.
Right. Yeah.
So you get creative thoughts basically in the middle of the night.
I get the most motivated thoughts at that time.
Okay.
And I don't know why I rolled my R. Motivated.
You want to prove you're not a pocho to the Mexicans that might be listening.
Yeah. I get my most, and then it's funny because I wake up at like a noon with the most unmotivated attitude, you know, which is why I drink a lot of coffee. But like at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I'm like, oh, all right, I'll wake up tomorrow. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And then I'm like, oh, I could vlog this. I gotta edit that. Oh, it'll be cool if I got on that show. I'll talk to that guy for that. And I'm just up thinking. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And then I write things down, and then I'll edit videos like really cool. And then I wake up in the morning. And then everything that I was thinking, like I'm like a different person. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, that guy sucks. That's like ambitious, cringy asshole. and then I'm like in the morning, I'm just like grout. I used to be a morning person, and then I became a midnight person. So I think eventually it'll go back to a night person.
Yeah,
I have those whole full circle.
Well, it's hard for us to have a routine because our job is like not conducive to having a routine.
Do you like that? Do you like not having a routine?
No, I'm a routine guy. I've said on the pod before, I would be a morning person if I didn't have to be out late doing comedy. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm getting better. I wake up in the morning and when I have like morning energy, because I do have morning energy. Yeah. I like get all of the like minuscule, tedious admin work that you have to do as a comedian, like sending emails, like video editing, even like getting my finances in order, like paying bills and shit. I try to do that when there's this Onion article I think about all the time, and it's man takes urge to clean as far as it will take him. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, yeah, once I've like, when I feel like a sudden like splurge of you got to do stuff.
Right.
I do it until that feeling like leaves my body.
Yeah, you did. You saw my van. It's dirty, but like it's never like I was embarrassed to show you because it's clean a lot of times. When it gets dirty like that, I get anxious. I'm like, I gotta clean it, and I feel like my life is not in order.
Yeah.
But dude, it's funny how like people like sometimes they'll see like famous comedians and like these guys, they just fucking hang out and that's their life. To an extent, it's true, but there's so much responsibility that goes to it. Like the finances, because you never know when your next gig is gonna be, dude, or you never know like. I mean, you gotta send the emails. Like for me, like I'm monetized on some apps, so like I gotta keep uploading shit to get paid, you know. And sometimes I don't feel like it. I don't feel like editing, and I'm like fuck. Or sometimes like certain videos that I know will go viral, but I don't want to be seen in that image. So I'm like, do I stay true to my image, or do I want to fucking have a like $500 next month? You know what I mean? So there's so much responsibility to it. But then it's funny because we all did this. Well, I did this to not have a real job. And then here I am working fucking overtime, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a 24/7 job.
But I do think that like, unless you have a trust fund, everyone does have to work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just figuring out like what you can do to make you not feel miserable.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, here's the thing that I try to remind myself. I haven't thought about it. I almost said I think about all the time. But when I decided to like quit my job and then move out here, I instantly became a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like we're millionaires in time. Where in the same way we're like someone that wins the lottery can either like ruin their lives or make it for the better. Where for us, we're like, I'm like, now I don't have a day job. So I just cha-chinged 8 to 14 hours in my day. Now, how I use that is up to me and how it will affect my future. You know what I mean? So, and my first year here, I fucking damn near got on stage 500 times and met everyone, dude. Like that was my life. I was going to 5 mics a day. I mean, my second year, I was like, all right, cool. I chose my, like you pick your friends and stuff, and then you start doing stuff. And like now it's my third year, and I'm like, all right, like the steam rolls away, but you have to fucking keep reminding. I don't know. You got to keep yourself on check. It's the whole thing.
You got to keep yourself in check. And Frankie, if people want to maybe message you to keep themselves accountable about what they've been doing.
Yeah.
This is how I'm trying to segue into you doing plugs.
Oh, nice, dude. I picked up on that.
because we are out of time. Time flies when you're having fun. So tell the people where they can find you, Frankie.
Frankie Hoy on everything. Frankie with an I-E and then Hoy, H-O-Y. And then I do sketches with my buddy Luke Davis. A Real Piece of Work. That's the name of the sketch page. It's on everything. Watch it on YouTube because we're trying to grow YouTube. Trying to get it monetized.
Guys, let's get Frankie monetized. Follow him on everything. The sketches are funny. Luke is funny. Frankie's funny. We're good guys. We're cool guys.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
And yeah, we'll have you back on for sure.
Oh, wait, shit. Can I plug my podcast?
Plug your podcast.
Keep on Trucking Podcast. That's it.
Keep on Trucking Podcast. Frankie Hoy on everything, guys. Remember, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just playing night owls. You know I love you.